Alex, thank you so much for joining me to talk about the recent developments about AI and development, software development. You started with engineering AI lab at Spryker, so let's start with that one. You've done a couple of posts about those on LinkedIn that we can link to in the description of this video already. But talk us through quickly what was that about, and what made you start this in the first place?
Mhm. Yes, thank you, Guido, for inviting me to the conversation. Why we started with AI Lab? Yeah, it's a quite interesting story. Like around how many 3 years ago, when ChatGPT just appeared,
Yeah,
we actually were trying to find a way how to use the ChatGPT, like in software development. Back to the days, the expectation was that you can just use it everywhere. It just is a magic. It can give you everything. And then when we tried, we just saw that unfortunately it's not true. Unfortunately, that
yeah.
really work like that. That you just give ChatGPT to everyone, and it just magically works. So we,
3 years of hype, but we're still not there yet.
it's a very good question whether we are not there yet or what is the final destination. There is actually
Yeah,
because now ChatGPT as a just for developers it's even a past days. There's now completely different tools that augment daily work. But why we went with the engineering AI lab? It was more like an evolutional process because initially we had a couple of islands in engineering teams, like few people who were
yeah,
super motivated to use ChatGPT on a daily basis, and then we had like a majority of people who just were busy with other tasks, busy with delivery tasks, and didn't really have much of a uh, time and sometimes also trust that these tools can help. It's like the usual situation with having like 10-15% of early adopters and then have a mass of people waiting for something mature and ready to be used.
yeah. So the AI lab was very much about exploring, okay, what's available on the market, what kind of tools are there, how can we use it, and in what areas of the company can we use it?
Yeah, so we got some motivated people. They started to submit different ideas, and then the AI lab was like a logical answer on how to connect them, how to give a bit of a structure to these ideas, not to put the guys into boundaries saying you have to explore this and this because it's what the company wants, but rather how to help them with the necessary approvals, how like fast tracks for to the legal team, maybe like a budget for some of their trials for different AI tools, and how to learn very quickly from their experience. So what can be then documented, maybe even rolled out in the engineering teams. And that's how
Hmm.
we started last year. And we have like more and more people participating in AI Lab, also even outside of engineering and even the tech department, even from other departments. And I think nowadays we have even way broader areas and scope of what we explored. We went out of a prompt engineering for ChatGPT and like basic scenarios for GitHub Copilots to nowadays like agentic workflows, self-hosted LLM models, internal knowledge bases, and looking how we like all of the tools that are now appearing even for different use cases, how we can
Yeah.
get the value out of them.
Yeah, you mentioned that quickly in our pre-talk. Prompt engineers. We had a lot of those on LinkedIn. Seeing people putting that on their on their LinkedIn. Say, I'm prompt engineer now. We don't see that anymore. What happened?
Uh, yeah, because like how many 2 years ago, like 1.5 years ago, there was a very strong belief that like the standard software engineering, right, will be replaced by prompt engineering, just because again, code generation is very uh, deterministical job in some way. So
Yeah.
it's not like finding something what is unknown. You still can really find a way how to, based on a clear task definition and also based on a software like programming language, your requirement rules, defined architecture, how to generate the code more or less in a
And a single character can mess up your whole thing.
also true, but
Yeah.
then you can
Yeah.
also have a prompt what is checking it. So
Yeah.
there's a nice way how to look at it, but just that writing the code is way simpler than try to understand what somebody can imagine in general in their head, like coming with a maybe nice music or something like that. Although there's also very nice AI solutions for in this area so also. But yeah, the expectation was that tools like ChatGPT or in general the interface of communication with AI via prompts, via human language and getting such a high quality outcome, like high quality code that is improving. Initially, it was not as good, also because of amount of like percentage of hallucination, also because of of a context window. Nowadays, it's or like even in the past 1-2 years, started to improve significantly, and already like for small and medium projects, it was and now it's also possible to just include them in the context. But
Yeah.
in my opinion, the idea was that with prompts, there's a very clear way how most of the tasks that software engineer performs in terms of code creation can be automated, and then the engineer won't be just typing parameters, methods, variable names, and so on, but rather will be interacting with AI, so large
Yeah.
language models, let's put it like this, via prompts, and getting the result that then has to be reviewed, yes, and then deployed.
And so you did a little survey,
Mhm.
and I want to talk about some of those results. So you say it improved quite a bit, right, over the last years, those results. But in the survey, one of the things you said, like 60% still doesn't really trust AI generated results. So do you feel that's justified, or is that still people that had experience over the past, or maybe for 2 years ago, that that's all shit? Let's not use that. Is that become better, or is it roughly? Do you think that's roughly a very good measure of how AI currently is producing code, and is indeed like roughly 60% shouldn't be trusted?
Mhm. So I think the question of trust is very loaded in this case, because you can imagine
Hmm.
exactly as like from completely one extreme of believing that everything what AI produces is like nonsense, and I believe that we don't have 60% of people believing that what AI produces is nonsense, but it
Yeah.
rather like looking into the output of the current stage of large language models and tools for coding which AI powered as something what is very far from production ready. So
Yeah.
like I would say like more than 60% of people believe that what you get is a very good foundation, is very good like solving the blank page problem, but then you have to still take it and finish it. And in some cases it might take even more time than write it from scratch. In some cases, in many cases not. And it's more like also to balance a bit correct of like a management and leadership expectations that not everything can be easily automated with AI. So you just drop the requirements and get production code and do the task in 20 minutes that previously took for you a couple of days. But
Yeah.
that is in some ways it's very good efficiency leverage and help to speed up. In some cases, yeah, as we also discussed before, you might have some wrong symbol in your code that you will spend a couple of hours just to find why it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, we also spoke about that with Dennis, saying that yeah, something that previously took 50 days can now maybe be done in 5 to 10 days, before you get something that can be tested, or maybe even put in production. Um, how do you see that being used? Is that then, are we producing more? So are we then producing 5 to 10 times more features, or is it more put into exploring different things? Like previously, you would never go and spend 30 days on, oh, this might be a nice idea, and if while now you can, oh, but in 5 days it might be worth exploring. It might still not pan out. So how do you see that freed up time? That probably doesn't feel like it, but how do you see that extra time being spent? How do you manage that?
There are definitely areas and tasks where we also at Spryker we see a dramatic improvement with AI, how quickly we can solve them just from
Hmm.
improving the documentation, like writing it very quickly, also and also writing tests, just automation
Yeah.
tests. There are also some areas where the current stage on the current maturity of AI tools, at least that we have seen so far in the market, we don't see that they will bring like 10, 20 times, or even like or even 50% improvements. They definitely help. But when you operate within the existing code base and existing or the existing set of functionality that is very custom, maybe it's an internal functionality that is not yet released, documented, and available for giving it as a context, like a fully fleshed context to the model, then AI can be a good help, and it's often very good help, but it's not in dimensions of 2, 3, 5, 10 times faster. There are definitely areas,
Yeah.
especially like migrating from one version to another of frameworks and languages. It's just very, very clear how to do because it's very well documented what changed, where you see, and the market see dramatical improvements. What previously was taken days and weeks to now can be done in minutes. For most of the tasks that we are building, because we don't really maintain in the existing code base and then just updating it from version to version, the majority, 99.9% of our task is actually creating a new business value for customers. We do see improvements in tasks around creating the business functionality. With the business functionality as well, definitely in lower digits.
Mhm.
And yeah, the free time team spent on building and delivering more value to our customers.
Yeah. And do you also see a difference in who benefits from using AI? I think the related stat from your survey was that 80% say that they actively use AI at work and beyond. And when we spoke to Dennis, he also mentioned that actually he sees that AI is way more useful to really experienced developers. That a super experienced developer plus AI might be able to indeed be that 10x developer, where it's actually much harder for juniors to understand what's happening and to make use of it. And the juniors are more complaining about, yeah, it actually it might be faster if I just write it myself instead of prompting an AI and trying to debug it all while I have no idea what it's doing.
Um, there are definitely tasks which for which AI is very beneficial and for different
Mhm.
seniority levels. For I see that for junior developers, so just for new developers to development teams, AI can significantly help to just speed up the onboarding process because you don't need to
Yep.
go through entire code base trying to understand every single method, every single module, every single class, how the APIs are connected, what is there. You can, if you use something like a Win sort of like a cursor, you can already interact and ask questions, and you will just
Yeah.
get the right explanations that like your mentor, and that's where you have a
Hmm.
significantly shorter onboarding time. And of course, if you just give very very complicated task like to building or changing some very low level architecture part of the system, AI will help for the junior or new developer, but of course, when it's the experience, more senior person who already has an understanding of all of the fundamentals, like just general fundamentals of the system and architecture patterns, AI will be way more beneficial. And it will be just something what maybe previously was used like with like a EDS, like JetBrains from JetBrains, where you could use like refactoring capabilities and search and so on. Now you can combine these ones with AI-powered IDs, and you can really get not only like how you can quickly search for something, you can quickly edit, but also like if you understand how you can do it and what to do it, and you can
Hmm.
already decompose your tasks, you can with AI significantly speed up the process of changing also like very complex architectural parts of the system.
Okay. And can you share a bit about the tools that your team is either using in production or exploring? You already mentioned Windsurf.
Mhm.
JetBrains is doing more and more with AI.
Uh, they are using a lot of different tools because we also have different teams which are busy
Yeah.
with like more with the platform part, with the cloud part, with the infrastructure part, as well as some business applications. And for different teams, there's a different necessity of how they interact with the code, whether they modify mostly the existing parts of the system or they create some like a business value on top. So that's
Yeah.
why we use quite actively products from JetBrains, like a PHP Storm, for instance.
Yep.
Then it's combination with a GitHub Copilot. We also have teams that use VS Code with a Copilot, Windsurf, Cursor, even sometimes in combination, depends on a task, or even in multiple tools just to compare the output and to play it with it. We also do have probably 20, 30 tools on different stages of trials that we
Yeah.
also exploring and try and like within the POC with the with no exposure to any sensitive data, but also simple for us because we have open code policy in general. Our code base is available on GitHub. That's why it's way more simple for us than with in case with a closed code with a software that is very proprietary and isolated within organization. So that's why there are a lot of tools that being in different stages of trial and that we might make to the production level, or maybe just be.
Do you guys also feel like overwhelmed with the amount of tools that's coming out? I mean, if I recently, colleague Mark, he shared this image was basically like a list of top 100 most used AI tools, and I'm quite actively trying out all of these kind of tools, and I think I didn't recognize like 95% of the tools on that list, and I was like, oh man, I'm a lot of FOMO on. Okay, shit, I'm missing out on a lot of great tools apparently that I never knew about, while even being actively doing this already. Yeah, how do you handle this? I mean, there's a new tool probably every day that you can trial. So how do you try to balance that?
So there are multiple aspects to this. For exploration, exactly for this we have AI lab. We just try to test as many tools as possible, like every week. Of course, we won't be able to test like all of them, but we take a couple of tools, the new ones or the ones that are showing the most promising, let's say, marketing results from different reviews, and we try them. And of course, they're not being used as a distraction to the normal delivery teams. So for this, exactly, we have an AI lab where we try them. What also learning that we have now, that the tool set for software engineer is becoming very different compared to how it was in the past. In the past, in a company, you would have ID that is predefined, pre-selected, pre-procured. You would have one to tools that are just really for everyone, or at least for everyone within the particular domain, whether it's a backend or front end or infrastructure development. Nowadays, what we see is that it's better, at least for us internally at Spryker, to give a freedom for developers to select which tools they want to use. And that's how we actually moved from having one single ID for everyone within the, let's say, platform development to have a selection of multiple, and this selection is being constantly reviewed and adjusted. So then every engineer can decide, okay, I want to use, for instance, a PHP store in combination with cursor, or I want to use just a cursor, or I want to use a windsurf, or I want to use even different hybrid model, just because it makes me the most efficient. Also, one of the reasons that these tools are innovating so fast, every couple of weeks they have a new release that brings new capabilities that like previously wasn't really a case for any of ideas. That the evolution of them is so quick.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a lot of people using these tools. How do you see that? How do you see changing? How you see this changing the job profile? I mean, I don't know if you're hiring right now, but if you would be hiring people in the next months, how does that change the profile you're hiring for compared to like 2 or 3 years?
As hiring is a very good question, and it's a very challenging one. There are like a lot of discussions also happening nowadays about how best to hire a person. It's like very similar to like 10 years ago when people were hiring for software engineer. The question was, should the person knows every single like a programming language method or like predefined language methods, or should you just be able to Google fast, right? To go fast, to find it fast in internet, and different companies had different preferences. Nowadays, if we just hire a person tomorrow, I would rather do it in person. I would just rather do it in person compared to the online experience, because then I think we can have way more personal exchange of opinions and also just discussion, understanding like about what is the depth of a fundamental that person knows. And in my opinion, then like all of the coding like tasks, if the person knows how to use a couple of AI tools, that's not a problem anymore. There's like the level of knowledge of like a PHP or TypeScript or so on, like semantics or how to write the code, is not that high as it was before.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And if I would do it online,
Hmm.
then I wouldn't definitely forbid using AI tools. Doesn't make sense because we're not we are highly encouraging people inside in Spryker organization to use AI tools as much as possible because we believe that it's the future of software engineering. But I would still to try to have as much as possible like a live discussion,
Yeah.
understanding like the opinion, understanding how the person sees the software development, what are their um, what are the depths of fundamental knowledges, and not something what, in my opinion, it's still not something what I can very quickly and easily, like during the interview, ask ChatGPT and then
Yeah.
have a very active, like a dialogue or so, just to get in depth. So that's would,
Yeah. So the personal connection is basically becoming more important then.
yes, yeah, just because nowadays there's also a lot of posts on like on internet how people fake interviews to like really like Google and other companies, just
Yeah.
instead of spending hours and days and weeks on Letticode or so preparing for interview, how easily you can do it with the help of AI. And
Yeah.
there's no really big necessity of giving this probation task and so on the person can do at home because there's the value of this in my opinion is now degraded significantly.
Nice. Okay. Good to know for people looking for a job. Hey, and how do you see this? So we spoke a bit about how this is reflected within, or how AI is being used within Spryker itself. How do you see how do you see this change, like commerce in general? How do you see what's the effect there? Or whether we do you see some trends in commerce engineering that are influenced by AI, and how that impacts the products that we are delivering?
Um, there are very different aspects also connected to what are the customers that Spryker working with. And we are
Hmm.
quite actively working with the big enterprises, also with the different hybrid models in the area of B2B and the marketplace. And at this particular moment, also just based on my discussions with some of the customers, I definitely see they also explore, not only explore, but also
Hmm.
use quite actively AI
Yeah.
in their daily work for making sure that they can also deliver the experience to their buyers as good as possible and also like as personalized as possible. What I still don't see is the expectation that the switch from the standard UI to the voice way or like to the way with interacting like
Yeah.
with human text, something what is quite actively being promoted nowadays. It's like the UI will die, the front ends will die, and
Hmm.
the new UI will be just interacting with a kind of ChatGPT like experience, saying, give me something and you immediately get it. I don't see it at this moment. I don't exclude that in the next couple of years it will be changed because also we see that in general the ways how the person might be interacting with the e-commerce systems, whether it's a B2C or it's a B2B, might change significantly because maybe the entire layer of buying something in person or like
Hmm.
exploring different providers or on their websites might disappear, and then something will go to the like really procurement side where you'd be really interacting with different AI agents just based on your task
Yeah.
and based on your business goals. That's something, in my opinion, what has a high probability to come, but not within the
Not
next
being
one,
discussed yet.
10 years,
Yeah.
or 1, 2 years, maybe a bit
Could
more.
it also be like a difference between B2B and B2C, where with B2C, since it's often it's one off, you're exploring as a customer, and then sure you can talk to your ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever you're using, and it might give you suggestions on things to buy. Where in B2B, this might be finally the push for more like IoT systems to start thriving. So not it's not triggered by a chat or a conversation that you're having, but that IoT systems are becoming now way more smart with AI enhanced workflows that can make smarter decisions and autonomously start buying whatever you need as a business.
Regarding the IoT and especially like in the B2B area, there's definitely a new way of looking into this problem because now with the high data, like high amount of data that you're getting in IoT with AI, especially with the pattern recognition approach, you might get really something what you couldn't get for a couple of years. And there's, in my opinion, a lot of opportunities also for Spryker as a company, but in general for the companies that are active in this area. And what you also see as Spryker, there's definitely interest is growing into IoT with AI in the B2B segment. In B2C, there's definitely some tasks and some use cases where you don't need UI almost. If you, for instance, want to just book a flight somewhere, you ideally want to have a time frame that is suitable to you and the budget that's suitable to you. And then you don't need really to look at all of the websites, seeing all of the banners and the same images or the same planes. While when you might be doing something way more design and just visual sensitive, maybe when you book in the hotel, that's why you want to really see the photos. You want to make sure that the room is like you expect to have, maybe the quality of the hotel, and not only based on the price, location, and the last few hundreds of reviews. So there's different use cases where I see that voice and like language type communication can be significant benefit for humans, and that's something that will come very soon. And there are others where there will be still a hybrid of voice, text, and visualization in different ways.
Yeah. Cool. Alex, thank you so much. We're already through our time. I think, again, we didn't touch upon half of the topics that we we had a discussion this morning about, or on Slack, about um, centralizing the prompts everyone's using, right? And using task systems for that. Maybe we'll get to that a next time. Last question for you. We have Excite coming up on September 25th. We already saw some topics from the developer channel. Are you taking on any of these? Are you involved with any of these tasks?
Yes,
See you on stage.
I will be on a stage with a presentation about like the evolution of software development and engineering. It's like a next step from my last year presentation about how AI is changing it. Last year it was about like AI powered software development. This time it will be mostly about like a hybrid and AI native
hybrid
software
engineering.
Exactly.
Agentic AI.
Agentic AI as well, and all the challenges and all the opportunities that you have there.
Cool. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hop back to Slack to continue our previous conversation there, and we'll see you again soon on maybe another podcast on AI.
Yeah, thank you, Guido. See you soon.
Thank you.